I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up?
Grant with that jump shot's off. Long rebound run down by Hodges, and here's the king. That's a three.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait.
Are you kidding me? Do you believe it?
University of Houston Cougars and the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Messing up brackets nationwide.
They blew my brackets to shreds, and I have no qualms with it. This is March Madness. This is the return of the Southwest Conference. Two old Southwest Conference teams knocked out the two top number one seeds last night. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the frantic, fabulous Friday edition of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, my partners in tow. And I begin with a question, which I basically just answered, but I have to ask anyway. For all the brackets that were blasted nationwide last night, what the fuck happened? Hey, I salute the Houston Cougars as well as the Arkansas Razorbacks.
I was on a show last month, and they asked me about the NCAA tournament. So yeah, which team would be a dark horse that's in the running?
And your answer was?
I said, you know what? I think people are sleeping on them, Arkansas.
And
they slept on them majorly. And I actually said that. I said, yeah, Arkansas.
They slept on Arkansas and they slept on Houston.
Oh, they definitely slept on Houston.
You know what? This is for you, my friend. since they kept showing shots of Akeem Olajuwon, who had carte blanche to go to San Antonio, and the way he tore San Antonio hearts out many a time in the old Alamo Dome, I have no problem with them showing shots of Olajuwon, a very popular Houston alumnus.
Oh, yes.
I had no qualms with that whatsoever.
None.
I had no qualms with that whatsoever. So I'm not mad that my championship game got blown to smithereens, because this is what March Madness is all about. I stood and applauded, and my wife looked over my shoulder and she says, "Hey, Houston's beating your number one seed." I said, "They didn't just beat Arizona.
Yeah, they
kicked their ass."
Yeah, they beat the brakes off of Arizona.
They stopped Arizona cold. Okay? They stopped Arizona completely cold. And when you have that kind of advantage and people are sleeping on you, and you go beat the brakes off the overall number one seed, I have no problem whatsoever. I got no problem. And I had friends texting me this morning, "Aren't you mad that that your championship game that you did live, that you predicted live on the air, got blasted?" No. This is March Madness. This is when the hot teams, Connecticut 2011 and 2014, this is when the best teams show up. That's how I look at it. And again, you see this in front of me? This is in salute to the Houston Cougars and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Now, I need to do something. And no, it's not what you think, folks. Although I may have one of those a little later.
I'm sure you do.
Because that kind of content can't stop, won't stop. It just won't stop.
Why are they like Bad Boy in the late 90s, I tell you.
You get the idea. But what I am going to do, listen, I got back into my habit of writing the show out. Okay? You can't see it because my tablet's in front of it. I wrote it out last night.
I see. This is in.
Soon as Houston and Gonzaga as soon as Arizona and Gonzaga went down, that I knew I'd do that on the air. Why don't they bring back the Southwest Conference? I'm beginning with a question I've asked before. Why don't they bring back the Southwest Conference? Because two alumni of the Southwest Conference, Houston and Arkansas, are in the Elite Eight. Hell, I'm hoping they get to New Orleans. I have two underdogs now.
Yeah, that would have to be Duke and Villanova, respectively. I believe. Let me see. It's a word that's in my brain. I'm having a hard time thinking about it. Let me see. Principle, no.
And that word is no.
Integrity,
no.
No. Tradition, no. Oh, yeah.
No.
Money. Yeah, they figured that there's no money in having that type of region, that type of conference anymore. Part of the charm of the ACC in that kind of regional conference. I have a response for that. Yeah. Part of the charm of the ACC, and of course, ever since it has dwindled into the Power Five, the charm of it has dwindled along with it, was the fact that they had 8 teams and half of them were in North Carolina. It was wonderful to see the state of Texas just have these powerhouse programs, and you had a distant cousin in Arkansas be a part of the fun. It was great. And then
it was fun is what it was.
It was great. It was fun. It was wonderful. I mean, especially football season. I mean, it was just, whew,
oh man,
talent was just absolutely ridiculous.
Southwest Conference football, man, please. I had I besides the Big Ten, which was shown regionally growing up in Chicago,
of course, yeah. That I'm sure
I'd stay up. I'd stay up late to watch replays of the games in the Southwest Conference.
Mm.
It was the ACC and the Southwest Conference for that I'd watch.
Yeah. And so, of course, when we graduated from high school and went on to college / military for me, that's when we started to see the business of college sports rear its ugly head.
Yeah,
and that's why you do not have and that is why you do not see a Southwest Conference anymore. And that's why you will never see a Southwest
Conference.
Yeah.
Well, I have a present for you.
A present? Oh, what would that present be, sir?
I have a gift for you. Because in the midst of me relaxing and taping my next 2 episodes of Speaking Our Truth with my friend Stacy, and y'all need to subscribe to that on YouTube and on your favorite audio podcast, because I'm catching up with that today. I've also made the decision that, Cole, I will need you to take the chair next week. Even though it's not surgery week, there is a lot of preparation involved, and I need to get a lot of rest.
All right.
So probably beginning Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. I haven't decided. I'm gonna talk it over with my wife. My wife says it's okay when I come home from surgery, to get back in the chair. She just says, gauge your body. And the 6 weeks, very smart. So I will say this now. The 6 weeks that I am home, I will be back in the chair, but the show will go no longer than 120 minutes. And that's just gauging my body and the fatigue post-surgery. So one day next week, Cole will take the chair for the duration from then until I get home from the hospital. Will I be checking in? Damn straight. I will be checking. The only day I won't check in is the day I have my surgery, which is April 4th.
Surgery day.
Surgery day, I will not check in. Every other day I will check in. But Cole, I love you and I trust you. And I just need you to take the chair for about 10 days.
Okay. Well,
so
whatever you need, let's do it. That's all I got to say.
I appreciate you. This is why I asked Cole to join me on the show, because in a sentence, I completely trust him. I completely trust him. I've been a fan. No, I've been a fanatic of his content since I discovered it. And the episode that made me discover him was the one you did on DeMarcus Cousins. I know I've said it a few times, but it was the email. It was the email that hooked me. It was the email that hooked me. And I'll never forget it. Email NBA fan. Subject of email. Free. And of course, at the time when DeMarcus Cousins was a free agent, Laker Nation, whatever the hell you want to call him, and NBA fan, and I love the way you set it up when you said NBA fan is crying foul when DeMarcus Cousins signed with the Warriors. And I go back to that time, and every point you made, including this one, DeMarcus Cousins was a free agent. The Warriors wanted to get better.
Right.
And they didn't call DeMarcus. DeMarcus called them.
Right.
The same way Kevin Durant did.
The exact same thing as Kevin Durant. Right.
Exact same thing Kevin Durant did. And you know what the Warriors did for Kevin Durant? The Lakers didn't do it for LeBron. The Celtics didn't do it for Kyrie. You know what the Warriors did for Kevin Durant and DeMarcus Cousins? They flew their asses out to San Francisco. They flew them out. We're talking first-class charter from a first-class organization. Hey, you want to play? Come on down. And it wasn't even a 3-day process after the NBA Finals ended in 2016. It wasn't even a 3-day process. They had to stretch it out to a month for the timing.
Yeah.
They had to stretch it out to a month for the timing. They had to follow the to follow the rules. But from what a few insiders told me, it wasn't even 72 hours after the Warriors lost to Cleveland, where Kevin Durant said, "You know how I feel about that. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that when I physically get back in the chair in 2 weeks' time."
But I'm proud of you what you just did, though.
Yeah. And you know exactly why I say it the way I say it. You know me very, very well. It wasn't even 72 hours.
No.
When the Warriors said, "We'll do this," the Warriors like, "You want to play? You want to play for?" Hey, Queen and King podcast. Hey, check them out on YouTube. That's part of BS3 TV. Part of BS3 TV, which is one of the networks that is carrying this show. And there are some things in the works that a second network, big network based out of the Midwest, will carry this show. I mean, they're wanting what's up, man? They're wanting, people are wanting to see this show now. So
how you doing,
Ivan? It's Ivan. It's Ivan. I'm sorry, Ivan. I got the wrong number. I'm sorry, Ivan. But yeah, there are folks that are wanting to see and hear this show. So once I get back in the chair, after a nap, because I know I'm going to do a couple of hours here on the program and then go take a nap. And my first full production day is when I can honestly say, and this is for you, sir, deals will be signed.
Sometimes I wish I had elements here, because I would hit a rewind or a record scratch right now.
Oh, I'll do it for you. My first full-time day back in the chair in 2 weeks' time, deals will be signed. Because there's a fantasy football company that's interested. My friend Shane, who is one of 3 executive producers, you being one, and you know who the other one is. She's always has her ear to the grindstone.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, there's a team being put together for this show. And yes, I was told I had to clean it up, and I know I have to clean it up. I know I have to clean it up. I know I do. I know I do, because I've been saying the 7 dirty words on this program in the past month a lot, and I understand that.
You've been living a George Carlin life all this month.
Yes, yes, I have. Yes, I have. I have it, and I had a hater say something to me, and
okay,
I got to give you access to this particular StreamYard so you can have the elements that I have up here, and that's why I'm doing the new brand today, so everything will be ready.
Okay.
I had a hater say to me, quote, "There's no way you'll be able to make this program like the others. They have financial backing." Close quote. Well, the financial backing is coming. And I said by next fall, our goal by next fall is to be fully sustainable. By week 1 of the NFL season, this show will be fully sustainable, where I can call my partner and say, "I need your PayPal. I have money for you," and do it on a monthly basis. That's my goal. Because after I take the 6 weeks I need to recover and I do office stuff in part, and you know my wife's going to have an eye on me. I know my wife's going to be watching like a hawk, as well she should. And the moment I hear her go, "Mister, you've been at the computer too long," I'm off this thing and I'm going to bed. In a blink. I got Sam Just coming on at the bottom of the hour. Jay Spivey will join us this morning. He'll kick off hour 3. And Jay Spivey will join us not only today, but Monday.
Okay.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. While I'm giving updates, I think what I'm going to do, and I discussed this with you, sir, over the telephone, but let's go ahead and make it public. In following the blueprint of the Rod Peterson show, what he does with this co-host is that when there's a guest that comes on, they're in the back and he interviews his guests, and then I bring you back up. So I think I'm going to follow that blueprint because I have more elements to put in here, and I have a design that I'm going to be working on today that will highlight not just us, but the brand. And for those of you watching on the video feed, you see the design that I'm working with. You just see the bare minimum right now. You don't see the whole thing, but you're gonna see the whole thing. So yeah, Cole, it's time for us to take off. It's time for us to, can I say it plainly? It's time for us to get this money. And BS3 TV on Roku, y'all are a big, big part of this. That's why I trust Ben. That's why I trust Ivan. Everybody in that network who I will have on the program. Ben is with us every Friday. He'll be with us today at before the top of hour 2. But yeah, Sam Just will join us here in a few minutes to talk USFL football. I'm not even going to weigh in on the Tyreek Hill situation. I'm not.
You're not going to weigh in on it? Okay.
Not until Mike DeBate gets here.
Oh, okay.
Not until Mike DeBate gets here at 10:35. But I'll offer this.
All right.
I'll offer this. Tua, you better be ready.
Well, when you have a weapon like that, you have to be ready.
Tua has to be healthy. Okay, it is a football Friday, so I'll cut loose with it. Tua has to be healthy because he's had a glass hip since he got pulverized against South Carolina 3 years ago. God, I don't know if you're thinking the same way I am, but I want college football back. I want another full season of college football now, especially now with me. And thank you to you while I'm dishing out kudos right now. My friend Frank, who lives in Japan, sent me a picture. He has a bunch of flowers in his hand. He goes, well, we get our flowers now for a job well done. So, sir, I am giving you your flowers for a job well done on this show, as well as Cole Sports. That's a healthy brand, y'all. Check out Cole Sports on YouTube. If you don't, you're gonna miss out on the fun.
I appreciate that.
You're gonna miss out on the fun, and you're gonna miss getting hooked the same way I did. Because I got hooked on that. I got hooked on Cole Sports quick. 2-minute warning. And another thing, of course, the Braun Sexual Confession every Wednesday. Mm-hmm. From the first episode I've watched the Braun Sexual Confession, it's like, okay, I have to steal this element and put it in my program. So I called Cole and I begged him, can I please use this? And Cole was like, why are you asking? Go for it. That was when I begged Cole to bring Braun Sexual Confessions to my daily show. Cole said, quote, why are you asking? Just do it. Close quote. I said, okay, cool.
I'm glad you get enjoyment of it.
I do. I love your content, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And especially yesterday, where we had to put a pause on that when it comes to Zion Williamson. I'll touch on that in a few minutes. Let's have some fun here. Let's talk USFL as Sam Just joins us, our USFL expert, as we count down to April 16th. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, fellas. How you guys doing?
Doing good, Sam.
I can't hear him. Sam!
Oh.
Said, how you guys doing today?
Oh, there you are. There you are. There you are. Okay, are you ready for April 16th?
Oh, man, I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
That first game, all I'm going to say is that first game is going to take me back to 1983. That's all I'm going to say.
Unfortunately, I'm not old enough to have been around for the original USFL, but I am super excited for the reiteration.
They got the original championship game in Denver on YouTube. Take a look, because I have a feeling that's how everything is going to be when this kicks off. Tell me a few players you're looking forward to watching in the USFL this time.
Oh, man. My first on my list is Jordan Teamu. I was a huge fan of his with the XFL. I thought he lit the world on fire. I really thought he was going to make it in the NFL after the XFL folded and he signed with the Chiefs. Unfortunately, he did not. But I'm excited to see him as a starter again. And I believe he's with Todd Haley in Tampa Bay. So that should be an interesting matchup.
Oh, that's going to be fun. That's gonna be fun to see that beast cut loose.
Exactly. In a pro style offense too, so it should be
in a pro style, absolutely in a pro style offense. Who else are you looking forward to? Who else are you looking forward to watching?
Kyle Sloter. So I think I've mentioned it on here before. I was born and raised in Denver.
Yes.
Kyle Sloter was on the Broncos for a couple years, and he was like amazing to watch in the preseason. He would shred defenses. He often had over a 70% completion rate. Not a real mobile guy, but he's got enough mobility to run the boot read if he needs to. And I definitely I'm excited to see him.
Man, I'm just excited to see all these players get a chance. If you haven't checked out Sam Shady Sports on YouTube, I suggest that you do. I love your interviews with these players, with these prospective players. You've interviewed prospective CFL, NFL, USFL players. Tell me how you got all that started.
It's kind of ironic. This whole YouTube thing, I kind of fell into it. I've been a diehard football fan for 20 years. I basically bothered another guy on YouTube until he added me to his media group, and I was expecting just to be a writer for him. And then he invited me onto a live. I just loved it and had to keep going with it. And another guy in that media group had done a couple interviews. He's a little bit more high profile than me, and he's able to get some NFL draft prospects on there. But I figured, you know what? That looks like a lot of fun. I would love to hear some player stories and firsthand from the guys. So I started reaching out to USFL players. And as I mentioned last time I was on, I interviewed Malik Hamner. He was actually my first interview. I just want to throw this out here. I had another player cancel on me for that interview half an hour before I was supposed to interview him. Malik Hamner, with less than 2 hours notice, jumped on the show and interviewed with me. Like, no qualms about it. He hopped on, was a great guy, great interview. So it just goes to show you that the way this is approached by some players is totally different than the others. Some guys are super happy, super excited to talk to you. Others are not so much.
It's true. It's true, because the first former NFL player I interviewed was Richmond Webb from the Miami Dolphins. And I had a friend make that suggestion to me. I reached out to him, and I said, I'd love to have you on the show if you have time. 20 minutes later, he got back to me, and it wasn't even a yes or a no. It was like, when can we do this? I'm like, cool. I've had Rich Webb, 7-time Pro Bowler, Glenn Parker, Super Bowl participant, Gary Reasons, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and Lee Woodall. So like you, I'm taking the bull by the horns, and I'm just asking for players and former players to get on the show. Now, what I'm also doing, and my wife is helping me construct the email to do it, is reaching out to the teams and getting on their email lists. I'm having that put together for next year. And
That's awesome.
I have I have a couple folks that tell me who I need to get a hold of so I can get some player interviews. And I said, that's awesome. I'd love to have that happen. Well, Sam asked me, what kind of role can he serve for this show and for my brand? And I never answered him until now. Sam, I am inviting you to be one of my NFL experts beginning this coming season.
I would love that. I mean, especially if it's like in the morning, like it has been. Oh yeah, I would be all over that.
It's it'll be in the morning. It'll be on Fridays. I want you to talk football with us each and every Friday, especially after I have my surgery and when I get home. I said Sam is my USFL expert. Sam will be one of my football experts. He'll come on during hour 1. Of course, I'll have Mike Debate during hour 3. So I want people to have multiple NFL personalities. The multiple NFL personalities that I have on the show with me. So I'm going to make it official. Sam Shady Sports is a big part of Snowman in the Morning as well as Snowman Digital Media.
Awesome.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I'm looking forward to it for sure. And I look forward to holding down the fort with Cole next Friday.
Hey, looking forward to having it.
And I'm also extremely hopeful that everything's going to go great with your surgery and you'll come right out and we'll go right down pedal to the metal like you were talking about the other day.
Oh, I already said, in the immortal words of one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin, I'm going to stomp a mud hole in its ass and walk it dry. Period.
Nice.
Oh man,
I'm gonna stomp a mud hole in Cancer's ass and walk it dry. We've lost Sam. I think he went through a bad area. But Sam is official. Sam is official. John,
awesome.
Thank you. Sam knows his. I know he knows his stuff, man. I'm now subscribed to Sam Shady's channel. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I love helping people like Cole and like Sam grow. Okay? Because all the big time shows are about their own particular individual growth. I want my team to grow in terms of numbers, in terms of their content, everything. That's what I'm talking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see growth happen. And as my partner fixes his audio here, as you can see, Snowman in the Morning, Snowman over there. Oh, sorry, over there. Cole here. Cole Sports. Yeah. We're doing this big on the PS3 network and on YouTube as well. And the name of the channel, Sick, Cole Sports with a Z on YouTube. YouTube.com/C/Cole Sports with a Z. And I hope you enjoy the content that you see there, sir. Now, as my partner fixes his stuff, I think I may lead him in with this. So, I was thinking, here it is, off-season. Football's been absolutely going crazy with free agency. All these free agent signings going left, right, and center. And when you think one team has done what they can to just basically wow us, another team does the same thing and they wow us again. And then there is the backlash that is Deshaun Watson. He had to be under indictment. He had to be under a grand jury.
Thank you for leading me into that. Poor Deshaun Watson. I talked about this to lead off the show, so I'm just going to go ahead and go there.
Okay.
I've had discussions with people in sports groups that said Deshaun Watson's a free man. Leave him alone and let him play. And I responded to these individuals. And I said, Deshaun Watson's not going to see the field this year. And
he'd be lucky if he sees field this year.
I got stoned for that. I got verbally stoned for that.
Well,
how can you say that? He was not criminally charged. Yeah, you're not looking at the other side of the coin, you dumbasses. There are civil suits out there. And those civil suits, there are civil suits out there, which leads to something, and I mentioned this to Cole, he mentioned it back to me, and those who have a brain will know that there are civil suits out there, and a little phrase we like to call conduct detrimental to the league. Fuck the team, the league.
Yeah. Which he's still.
And who is in charge of this league? And who is in charge of this league? Mr. Roger Goodell. And people will ask me, well, what's Roger Goodell going to do? He's going to drop the hammer. That's what he's going to do. He's going to drop a 17-game suspension, I feel, on Deshaun Watson. Now, in this group, and I love the people in this group that I chat with. I do. I really, really do.
Yeah, I do too.
But Jay Spivey said it best. When there's smoke, there's fire.
Oh, man.
And boy, is there a lot of fire in Cleveland right now. There's a ton of fire in Cleveland.
If Deshaun thought he was going to have trouble dodging would-be defensive linemen and outside linebackers pass rushes,
he ain't seen nothing yet.
No, he has not, because this full-on blitz he's received the last year plus, it's just and then I didn't even think about this until I saw yesterday that there were more charges. Well, I guess it was more accusations that was brought to the floor, and he had to face a second grand jury, but they also declined to indict him as well. But it makes you think, so this procedure may be done more than once, and we may see it again where the prosecution will bring another accusation or another suit, possibly that could be criminal, to the Texas grand jury
for a third time. For a third time.
And then you might see a criminal trial. Yeah.
So I said this at the beginning. Okay. I said this at the beginning. My partner thought it's only going to be 5 or 6 games. And then Cole also said to me in response, I only hope it's 5 to 6 games. But I've said this since day one when all this started last year. Whenever a trade happens, and the Houston Texans are very culpable in all of this happening to Deshaun Watson. Houston Texans are very culpable. But
yeah, they are.
The trade has happened. Deshaun is supposed to get $230 million. And next year, he won't see a dime.
Here's so funny. Here's what's so funny about all of this. So you're seeing layers of dominoes falling. So you got the legal aspect of it all. Of course, the court of public opinion will sway heavily hard one way or the other, meaning either, well, he has these charges.
They believe him or they don't.
He has these charges. He needs to be thrown in jail, lock away, throw away the key. This fool is a rapist. That's one side. The other side is, well, these hoes ain't loyal, as Chris Brown would say. They're lying on him. And He proved that they hoes and they lied on him.
Yep.
And neither one wants to see what the truth is, which is, yeah, you might have some women in these cases, maybe all of them, that fudge the truth. It's quite possible. It's also quite possible they haven't. And on the other side of it, he hasn't been accused of rape. He's been accused of sexual misconduct, and there isn't a criminal charge being brought. So the truth is, this man, yes, he's free, but he put himself in that situation for doing stupid crap. When I was 18, I was in the military.
Wrong place, wrong time.
When I was in the military, 18 years old, I was about 2 weeks into boot camp. No, a week and a half into boot camp. And my CO faces us 300 strong, 300 18-year-old and 19-year-old males. And he faced us and he said the following quote.
Quote coming.
Okay.
He said,
quote, he said, I've seen prides all my life here. And there's one thing I know about prides. Prides do dumb shit. And he went on to say, what the close quote. Then he went on to say, what do prides do, prides? And 3 other hovers had to boldly and strongly, almost heard our voices scream, dumb, sir. And we had to do it 3 times. The point of that was for us to understand that, yes, we're going to do some stupid stuff because, well, we don't have the training and we don't have the requisite tools to understand what to do. And in this life, when you are a man, a young man, you got to get schooled that you are going to do some things that will put you in danger. And if you get that wisdom where you aren't going to hit those minefields, you'll be better able to avoid them. With Mr. Watson, he didn't have that.
Nope.
And so the conventional wisdom would be, well, heck, I want massages. Why don't I go to the team masseuse or the team
Exactly.
trainer?
Exactly.
No, he figured, okay, well, I guess he wanted to have a feminine touch, and he went privately. Didn't go to a public massage company. He just went privately.
Nope.
And that to me was the smoking gun in terms of he may not be guilty of rape or anything else. He may be liable for some of it, but he definitely is guilty of making bad choices. And
he's guilty of playing stupid games. Now he's winning all those stupid prizes, which is what our point has been since all this started.
Yes.
Wrong place, wrong time. If there's one thing my late father taught me, Rule 115-2, CYA, cover your ass. And my friend Derek, who was with me when my pops passed away, repeated it to me. He kept repeating it, and he hammers it home even today. And we've been friends almost 15 years. Remember Rule 115-2, CYA, cover your ass.
You got to.
All right, let's go to the Michael Scott Insurance video chat. One of the men in charge of BS3 TV, Ben Sutterth in the house. Big Ben, what's up, man?
Hey, man, doing good.
Love it that mansion, Ben. Love it that mansion.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go play some.
You know what? I want that piano. I can't play piano worth a damn.
Oh, you want that Steinway?
I can't play piano worth a damn. I want that piano. Yeah, I
Neither
don't
can
know
I.
if I'm ever going to talk my wife into bringing a piano that size into our new house wherever we land, but doggone it, I want that piano. Ben,
It's
how
just
are
there
you
for
this morning, brother?
decoration. I'm doing good, real good.
Good.
How
It's
about you
just
guys?
decoration. Give me your thoughts on the Deshaun Watson situation.
I was completely surprised that he went to the Browns. Number one, obviously they have Amari, they have Hunt. Looks like Jarvis Landry maybe potentially
Go
wanting
back
to
there.
come
Yeah.
back.
Mhm.
So I mean, I think offensively you've got a pretty good team, but I thought he would have went to maybe New Orleans or maybe the Panthers. So that number one, that shocked me. I was not expecting that. They were kind of a dark horse, and then they ended up being the one that got him. I think number two, I was listening to what you guys were saying. I think he is going to get suspended for some of the games. I don't know how many, but because nothing happened last year, we know how the NFL is. They are number one, very particular on certain what people they choose to suspend, and Deshaun Watson is probably one of those people. The thing was publicized. I don't know how many games, but I'm thinking he's going to get suspended because they didn't do anything last year. He set out, and it's not like prison. It's not like time served. He's going to get suspended for a certain amount of games. So that's the way I'm seeing it. I still don't see the Browns.
How many games do you think it will cost him?
I'm thinking 6 to 8. So maybe half the season.
That's what I'm thinking too. And that's what I'm hoping, actually. I'm hoping it's going to be that. But to my partner's point, he thinks it's going to be a full season. I could see them doing that. I don't want them to do that.
Yeah, neither do I. I think that's
I don't either, but I don't want them to do it either. Let me be clear. I don't want them to do it either. Right. When you have conduct detrimental to a league, they're going to sock you in the mouth. That's just trouble waiting to happen. When you have something called conduct detrimental to a league, David Stern has acted on that before. Remember the story of Michael Ray Richardson? They're going to sock you. They're going to sock you in the mouth. Sick Diggy has a great question, and Ben, I want you to be the first to answer it. How many of these players have had any preparation for life in the pros while they were in college? How ill prepared are these young players? I want to toss that question to Ben first.
Good question, Sick.
Yeah, I think it depends on what college you go to. Now, if you're at South Dakota State, Western University, then probably not. But at Clemson, I'm 100% sure he had some conversation of how to handle situations, how to deal with certain things that come your way. Chris Carter was actually one of those a couple years ago where he did a symposium, kind of talking about how do you handle these situations? What do you do? So I think there is some preparation, but I think some of them, no, it is not, because this is, really their first opportunity to get this kind of money and the first opportunity to be able to really make a difference for their family. So no, they're not. Not a lot of them are prepared. And that's why we see guys that don't make it and end up selling cars, or guys that don't make it and not ending up having any type of career afterwards. And that goes back to what my parents always said. You playing sports is great, but you need to have something to fall back on. And if that's a business idea you have, even if you don't get your degree and you just have connections like that, that goes, leaves some bounds. So I think some of them are prepared, some not. Obviously depends on who your parents are and do your parents help prepare you? Because the truth is my parents helped prepared me for being a grown-up. So things that you have to do, opening up a bank account, managing money, you save some, you spend some, stuff like that. So that's a deep level question because there's multiple levels to it.
You said the key word, parents. Yeah, I pluralize that word. I always have pluralized that word. And I'm just going to go all the way there. I've had some Black women approach me about, what am I going to do if this situation pops up, and what if that situation pops up, especially in terms of A, money, and B, romance. I looked him in the eye and I said, I will consult the one person who has gotten me this far. And this is before I lost him. And they look at me with a side eye and they go, well, who is that if you can't talk to me? My father.
Father.
Period.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking to dad. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Pops.
Yeah.
And I had one young black woman, and like I said, I'm going all the way there this morning. Y'all know I deal with honesty and I deal with the real. I had one young black woman who was interested in dating me, asked me all kinds of money questions, and the moment I said, I don't know, she walked away. A couple of weeks later, she called me. Why couldn't you answer this question? Because I didn't have correct counsel. Period. I didn't have correct counsel. And then she gets an attitude with me and go, well, who's your counsel? My father. That's who.
And
not you, not any of your friends. My father is the person I call. My parents are the people I call. Yeah, never heard from her again.
Yeah. And of course, then they would project their own personal biases onto your answer.
Fellas, gentlemen, we've spoken about this off the air, okay? Now how do they put it? I'm having the nerve to put it on the air. You're damn right I'm putting this on the air because these kind of conversations amongst men need to be had so we can get the next generation ready to make correct decisions.
Yeah. And this is why you have, unfortunately, the situation of Deshaun Watson, where he feels emboldened and he doesn't think anything of it to reach out and slide into people's DMs to get a massage.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so funny is that you see some of these young brothers who they don't see anything wrong with it because they don't hear the words rape or sexual assault, or they don't see battery. You know, they don't see Chris Brown going upside Rihanna's head type of thing. If they saw that, then of course they'd say, well, yeah, there's something wrong. The thing is, all three of us, and we all are and have been blessed by having fathers in our lives, along with mothers. We're taught if you were to dip your toe into that type of water, be prepared for what's going to come because you might not like the result. So
exactly,
be wary. But if you go in this direction and you seek this person out, this type of person out, you'll be fine because you'll know what to look for and what not to look for. With Deshaun Watson,
he never got that kind of counsel.
No. Yeah, with Deshaun Watson, he never received that counsel because he grew up in a single mother's house, and he was the oldest sibling of all of them. So he was a father figure before he actually was old enough to understand the role. And so he figured, okay, well, I'm already a man, and he's 15, 16. And so he thinks it's fine. He thinks he's bulletproof. Many of us as young adults think that. Well, now he knows he's not. And it's because of the stupid decisions he made. It's unfortunate. So,
and I repeat and I say again, it's going to cost him a full season.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Sick, I really don't believe many of these colleges teach their young, because I really look at it this way. Some coaches do, and some programs do, but most of these big time programs, they look at you as chattel. You come in, you're making my program better, and then we use this as your platform to launch the NFL. Whatever you do outside of the football field, that's your business. And a lot of these programs think that way.
And it's about money at the end of the day. We all know that at this point. It's all about money.
Yeah, it's about making the college money. It's about making the coach money. Yeah.
And I think obviously the age of social media and the sliding in DMs, like, and to Scott Iggy's point, yeah, Chris Carter did say you need a fall guy because you are the main guy that everybody knows. So yes, you should have had someone else, a friend, to slide into this person's DM besides you, because that's proof. That's proof of you sending somebody a message. And the internet does not, social media does not disappear. What you do on social media and the internet does not disappear. It stays there. It stays.
Let's make this let's make this a four-man discussion. Let's have the entire infield full. AJ Jones in the house. AJ, what's going on, man?
Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning.
How you doing, AJ? How you doing?
How y'all doing?
Yeah, let's go all the way there. Let's go all the way there and let's have some fun. And let's show why this show is the best sports show in the business and how you should begin your day. Because I guarantee you, no other show will do what I'm about to do. AJ, first and foremost, let me have your thoughts on the Deshaun Watson situation. And let's keep this discussion going.
Wow. Yesterday was a surprise. First of all, that the grand jury down in Brazoria County was going to check into the indictment. And then we hear that they took testimony, they looked at evidence, they heard that for several hours and decided that they were not going to indict him on criminal charges yet again. I'm starting to think Deshaun Watson is like the new Teflon Don, where nothing seems like it's going to stick to him. So, again, a lot of folks, when we got word that the grand jury was going to look at that 10th indictment, that one lone indictment that didn't get looked at a couple of weeks ago, everybody thought, oh, wow, finally, this might be it. But it turned out not to be. So I'm not surprised. And, a lot of people are really upset about it.
And as they should be, they should be, because I think what we also don't have is we don't, like you just expertly said, AJ, the public doesn't have all of the facts. They have a little bit, they have some, but they don't have all of it. And so you have what little bit of it that you have, and it's deciphered from that. And then you have these two camps of, well, he's a rapist, he sucks, he needs to just go away, throw the book at him. And, well, that brother's being lied on.
Well, and that's it exactly. You're either on one side or the other. There are very few people that are in the middle. There are people that feel like, because the statistics say only a very low number of these cases end in some type of indictment, that he's probably guilty, but there's not enough evidence to prove that he's guilty. And then there's the other side that feel like if there's not enough evidence to get an indictment from a grand jury, where the saying is you can indict a ham sandwich, then there must not be enough evidence that anything happened, and therefore they're ready to call him innocent. The reality is, whatever happened, there is not enough evidence to prove that it happened. And in the legal justice system, it's about what you can prove.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And like we talked about, the two ends of the system, somewhere in the middle is the truth.
Right. Somewhere
deep in the middle is the truth. All right. Somewhere deep in the middle is the truth. And it's now come to a point where we have to pose this question: how far is that truth being stretched? Because, like AJ expertly pointed out, on one side, you have people saying, oh, they're lying on him. And on the other side, you have people saying, throw the book at him, evidence or not, just because a situation has been brought to their attention. There's the problem. Within the deep middle of that, and it's about this size, somewhere in there, the truth lies. Now, A, are they going to find it? And B, most importantly, are they going to expose it?
That's a good point, because I know that there is a lot of evidence that has not been released to the public. The attorney for the ladies, Tony Busby, is doing all that he can to get as much as he can released to the public without crossing over the lines of his state bar license. But there is a lot that people don't know. As good as we all are as far as covering sports broadcast journalism, we don't know everything. Everybody has a source. Oh, my source tells me this. My source tells me that. Your source doesn't know everything. So people, unfortunately, make their decisions based on impartial information.
Cool McCain, who will join us later, brings up a great point. No one discusses that there were women who signed affidavits that he got massages with no issue. And you know why no one's discussing that? Because it takes away from the one extreme point that Cole brought up. He's a liar. He's a rapist. Throw the book at him. And AJ pointed this out as well. He's a liar. He's a rapist. Throw the book at him. We don't care what happened. There are incidents. Throw the book at him. But no one's discussing the fact that women have signed affidavits that he got massages, and here are the key 3 words again, gentlemen, with no issue.
Yeah, that had been reported maybe twice that I know of here in the city of Houston. If it's only being reported twice here, imagine how many few times it's being reported nationally. But here's the thing. There are folks that are of the camp of believe the women at all costs. I used to be in that camp, but I am no longer willing to sacrifice one single person. And notice I said person. Preach. I'm not just talking about black men. I'm not just talking about brothers of color. I'm talking about all men. And as long as there are Brian Banks situations out there, and now recently Chris Brown, there is no way in the world it's okay to sacrifice somebody else's freedom because other people didn't get justice. It's got to be a case by case by case situation. And I'm also not the guy that just because I have a sister or a daughter or a wife or a mother that I'm supposed to have this extra sense of sensitivity. I have the sensitivity I have whether I have a mother or not, whether I have a sister or not, whether I have a daughter or not. And it doesn't make those people more sensitive to the case. Listen, if he did it, he should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. If he didn't do it, you got to let that man go on because he has been through the justice system.
Yeah. And it's about humanity. To your point, it's not about if it's black or white. We just need it to be equal. I think that's what, and going on
that he has twice now.
It just needs to be equal across the board, not better for one and not better for the other. I think also with that attorney, that was a little sketchy. And then you started to see the list of women come. And that's when it starts to kind of get questionable, because then you have people coming out of the woodworks, and that's when it starts to get questionable, and especially with the attorney who was questionable to begin with. So there's so many layers to this.
Yeah,
and I don't think we will ever get the absolute truth, because number one, I don't know if anybody really wants to hear that, and I think eventually people are going to move on, because we have these things that happen really all the time, and eventually we move on to the next issue or concern or whatever it may be.
Yeah, that attorney, that attorney down here, we knew about him, and the fact that all the women went to him, that you can't overlook that. This is not a class action lawsuit against some billion-dollar corporation. This is a civil lawsuit against a man, and for all of the the complainants to go to one attorney, that tells me that attorney sought them out. If he sought them out, how could you find them and the police couldn't find them? How could you find them and other attorneys not be able to find them? So listen, I'm going to say this. I said it, as a young man growing up. As men, go around this picture. One of our biggest fears should be this situation right here. And I'm not saying this is what happened. Whether we did it or not, if someone came out and said he raped me or he assaulted me, we are going to have to deal with it. Whether we've ever laid eyes on that person. If somebody said he assaulted me, our lives will change. We will forever have to have dealt with that, and in many cases be looked at as if we did, whether we did it or not. That's just an absolute truth. And until we can fix all of it, man, we can't prosecute someone for something that we don't know if they did.
Yeah, I've shared this story in private. I'm going to share this publicly now. And this is a man that went through that in 2016. I was living in Michigan City, Indiana, or LaPorte, Indiana, I beg your pardon. And one of the schools that I was covering was Marquette Catholic, and their girls basketball team was on a roll, and the boys basketball team had just found their stride, and the fans were so excited to have me do play-by-play for their games. Well, the boys' playoffs had just started, and I get a phone call from the athletic director, and my world was crushed when he said, "We cannot have you covering games for Marquette Catholic anymore because someone laid an allegation against you." And I'm going to say it real. I'm going to ask Ben and folks to forgive me well in advance. I said, "I want the name of the motherfucker who made that allegation." He said, and the AD who didn't even have to cooperate said, "I will send you his voicemail. I think you'll recognize who it is." He sent me the tape of the voicemail, and I knew exactly who it was. I played it, and he said stuff like, "If you don't do something about Brian Snow at Marquette Catholic, I will go to the papers." And I was crushed. And I had just done the first playoff game for the boys, and every young man on that team sent me a message saying to the point, "Man, that's bullshit that someone would do that to you when all you did was your job." Every student, male and female, man and woman, every student, every faculty member came to my defense. Unfortunately, it was handled wrong. The AD knows it was handled wrong. And the big administration folks that I needed, the president of the school, the principal of the school and up, that I needed to defend me at that time, turned coward and ran. I was never able to call games for Marquette Catholic again. And that's after 3 years of building a reputation. Here's the bad part. The sumbitch that made the call called me. And I'm going to use an element here that is going to piss a lot of men off, but I believe in being real. He called me the next day and said, quote, "Hey, Tubby, how'd that thing go with the IHSAA? Woo, that's got to be rough. Don't be touching those little girls no more." Close quote. I didn't even call him back.
Wow. It's horrible. It's horrible. Go ahead.
No, I apologize. I'm just crushed because that's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what could happen. And go ahead, Cole.
Oh yeah. And what's messed up is I think all of us have similar stories like that. Like for me, I was 24. I was working at a photo shop, and everything seemed to be fine. It was about 7 of us. We all got along pretty well. It was nice. And then I had a conversation with one of the salespeople, cashiers. This woman was white, blonde, a little older than me. She's like in her mid-30s at the time. And so she mentioned that she was having a barbecue at her house with her husband. I was like, "Ooh, well, that sounds cool. I wouldn't mind coming over there just to see, how things would be, just in terms of I'd like to have that food," right? Didn't think anything of that conversation, right? So there was this emergency meeting that was called about 2 weeks later. And come to find out, that same woman filed a sexual harassment charge on me. I didn't touch her. I didn't call out of her name. I didn't proposition her. Yet I got thrown a sexual harassment charge. And I was hot because I was thinking to myself, one, I don't desire her. Two, I wasn't even thinking along those lines. And three, with the stuff that Deshaun Watson's going through now, I'm thinking, how far will this go for me to actually have to defend my name to this errant woman thinking that I did something that she and I both know I did not do. And it's sad that that's how you have to think in these days and times, to your point, AJ, because you just never know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
no, it's far from. Go ahead, Ben.
Oh, sorry. Also, to your point, AJ, as men and secondary as Black men, we definitely don't want to be in this situation.
No.
And I think the majority of us, is I'm going to do a generalization a little bit, but at least us four on this screen, we try at all costs to not be in situations like that, because immediately we're going to be the villain in the whole situation.
Absolutely.
No
Absolutely.
question.
I think that's the part where you don't want to be in that. You just don't, because it has a potential to go horribly wrong.
Yeah. Let me ask you. Look at the difference between the young man that plays for Arizona, Benedict. I forget his last name. He takes a bow. He's walking off the court. It looked like to me he thought that this person was going to high five him. So his hand comes across the front of her chest. Now, I don't know if it touched it or not. Everybody's got their own angles. But look at the comments. They wanted him prosecuted. They wanted him arrested. They wanted him kicked out of the tournament. And here there's been no evidence. There's been no investigation. There's been nothing. But folks have already judged him guilty and are ready for some very severe, stiff punishment. Robert Kraft has neighbors on camera, on video, saying it doesn't matter what he's done. He's been so good to this community. We support him. And as much as people don't want to put the element of race in the equation, this whole thing with Deshaun Watson is a microcosm of our society. Black men are judged harsher, are more often believed to be guilty without evidence, are just the type of people that we just want to see justice done, because that evil black man must have done something to those 22 women. It wouldn't be 22 women if it wasn't for that evil black man. Again, for any man in that situation, if they didn't do it, I want them proven innocent, or let the justice system run its course. If they did, then by all means do whatever the law allows you to do. But this rush to judgment, that is a subconscious prejudice, really. Yeah. Because it's a black man, it's got to be it. It's got to be true. It's got to be, nobody would have said all of that. No, people do it all the time, Emmett Till.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Sam Shady with a great comment here, talking about, because to me, it was very sketchy when this whole thing came out, because Deshaun Watson won it out.
Yeah, that was January.
The bigger point is they just sabotaged him at all costs. I mean, you trade away D-Hop for David Johnson, which, David Johnson's probably a great person, but they're nowhere near equal.
He's a walking
weapons.
He's a walking cast right now.
Exactly. And then this attorney, which I didn't know this, Sam, but now
I did
sense that there was a connection there.
I did.
Because what better way to diminish the player, to lower his value, to not make him want to leave, than to put him in a situation like this? And that's that was exactly what they did. So that was my thinking initially with this whole situation. It's interesting timing when he wants to leave, that you want to bring all this stuff up. Or you want to, it conveniently gets leaked.
Yeah. That's the messed up part that I saw throughout this whole thing, because I remember January of last year, Deshaun won it out. Then all of a sudden, here we are. latter part of January, early February of last year, these allegations just pop up from out of nowhere. First 10, then 12, then 22. And then when I saw the attorney, as you said, AJ, it was wonderful how you said it. This attorney who has ties with the team is representing them. I'm thinking to myself, man, this is collusion. This is collusion, straight up and simple. And I still believe it is. And I believe that's exactly what they wanted to do, Ben. They wanted to drive down the value of Deshaun Watson and deter him from trading. Because I actually said on the camera, I said I believe the team is doing this so that so they can force Deshaun to say, you know what, man, I said I wanted to leave this team. I'm not going to leave it. And I bet as soon as he would say that, those charges would drop.
Oh yeah, they would have disappeared conveniently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it was for those who want to, have this thing really investigated. Any good investigator would look at all of the timings, all of the coincidences, all of those things, because you go from 0 to 22 right after the man said, "I want out."
Right.
And for folks, well, why would the team harm themselves?
Right after he said, "I want out of here."
Mm-hmm.
Right after a football situation, talk on the microphone. Right after a football situation, he says he wants out. And as I often ask on this program, gentlemen, what is wrong with this picture? What is wrong with this picture? Yeah. Ryan McCarthy has a great comment. As a society, I believe we are too ready to hold men guilty in the court of public opinion before the facts come out. Social media has a lot to do with that. That's the fucking truth.
Yeah,
100, Ryan. Yes.
That's the fucking truth, Ryan McCarthy. And thank you, brother, for coming on to the show. 6 minutes before the bottom of the hour. And as much as I'm gonna hate to do this, I'm gonna have to end this because I'm having so many technical problems on my side. And we were just in the midst of a great discussion too, but I'm gonna have to end this broadcast. I know I had Chris Bates scheduled, I got Jace Pivey scheduled. I got to let them all know what's going on, but I think I have a solution. It's gonna require me to be off the air to do so, but I will end with this. Mr. Delbert Yates Jr., your ass is grass and old Snowman's a lawnmower, because when I stick a lawsuit up your ass after I get everything together, you, sir, will pay for everything you have done to break up the association I have with Marquette Catholic and the association with the school that I call my family. Because Marquette Catholic, Blazer Nation was my family for 3 years. And you, sir, single-handedly ruined that. Your ass will pay for ruining that association.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm exposing the names now. I'm calling out names. Because if we don't use social media for the power of good and call out the bad guys and the bad women, then nothing will get solved and nothing will get done. And men of all races will continue to be held accountable for shit that they didn't do. And it's not fair.
Yeah, it's not right.
Nope. Really, it's not fair.
Your point, it just takes one person to say something.
Yeah,
to get the whole ball rolling.
Hit the ball rolling, right?
Put in a situation where they didn't.
Well, I hope this snowball rolls downhill and smashes every bad guy, bad girl, hot girl, whatever the fuck you want to call it, where they are just flattened by this avalanche of good that needs to come our way, that needs to come the way of men. Let me say that again. That needs to come the way of men, period. Because I'm sick and tired of seeing, now Deshaun put himself in that situation, yes, but it should not have turned, it should not have turned into this fucking avalanche. Period.
No, it shouldn't. It should
not have turned. Right. It should not have turned into this goddamn avalanche. Ben, forgive me. It should not have turned into this avalanche. Period. And now Deshaun's going to miss an entire season. And I'm not saying this because I hate Deshaun Watson. I love Deshaun Watson, okay?
Yeah,
don't get it
I do
twisted,
too.
y'all. I love Deshaun Watson. But he put himself in that situation, and I expect the NFL to act accordingly. If I put myself in that situation, I expect the NFL and the team to act accordingly. But the Houston Texans need to be held accountable and culpable for this entire avalanche happening in the first place. And the dregs of society that love to see men fail. And here are 4 men on your screen that refuse to lose, refuse to quit, and refuse to fail. Refuse to fail. If it starts with the 4 of us, I am a big fan of the movie The Addams Family. Raul Julia played the title character, but he said something that was very poignant and applies in this situation. A fool is led to believe in what he can do. Well, as God is my witness, I am that fool. So be it. Then we are those fools that believe we can change everything and make it right using our platforms and using what we do. Men, continue to stand up for what you believe in. Continue to stand your ground. Put your cleats in the sand, put your cleats in the grass or on the dirt if you play baseball. Put your cleats down, put your feet down, and stand your ground. Because the only way this changes is if men who are truly innocent continue to stand their ground.
True. Well said, bro.
All right, you guys, I have to go. I have technical difficulties here. I'm not going to be able to hold my emotions any longer. Reminding me of what happened in 2016. I leave y'all with this. I am married to a woman who is not of the same color as me. Let's keep going for a few minutes. Cole was the first person I called after I started dating Jody. And Cole asked me a few simple questions. Does she make you happy? Yes. Does she make you happy? Yes. Does she treat you right? Yes. And then Cole slipped a question in there I never thought he would, but he said, does she make you laugh? Hell yeah, she makes me laugh all the time. And then Cole shrugged his shoulders and said, what's the problem? Jody saved my life 4 years ago. Jody saved my life 4 years ago. And I have been told I need to get back into the, quote, community. And I'm going to say something on the air that's going to piss off a lot of people, but I don't care. I believe in speaking the truth. You can tell the community to kiss my ass because I'm happy. Jody has made me happy. Period. Jody has made me happy since July of 2018. Anybody who has seen pictures of Jody and I out and about, either going to dinner or going to a game, that's my lifeblood, man. That's my lifeblood. Doesn't matter the color, the race, or the creed, or what the hell ever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. Jody is my life. And for someone to try to ruin what I have, no, let me say this correctly for all the gentlemen that's on air with me. For anybody to try to ruin what we have together as a show and as a network, kiss the back of our fat asses, because it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. I'm sick and tired of men being railroaded. I'm sick and tired of men having the finger pointed at them for something that's incorrect. Gentlemen, you already know. You've seen pictures of my wife and I. Do you know how many times I've had the finger pointed at me saying, ooh, you with her? You goddamn right I'm with her. What's a fucking problem?
People say,
and I wouldn't be who I am today without Jody. Yeah. I mean that. I wouldn't be who I am without Jody, without my daughters, without my son, without my grandchildren. And in honor of my biracial daughter, Donna Marie, who passed away in 2015, I certainly wouldn't be who I am without her. I'm sorry, y'all. I couldn't hold this.
Let it flow, bro. Let it flow, bro.
It's okay to cry. It is.
That's right.
If we hold stuff in, man, we hold stuff
People
in.
need to understand I was on the edge of a cliff. In 2018, I was on the edge of a cliff and I was ready to walk off that cliff and not come back. And Jody rescued me.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jody.
Thank
you, Lord, for sending Jody.
Yeah.
Jody rescued me.
Thank you, Father God.
Thank you, Lord.
Jody rescued me. I wouldn't be who I am without Jody.
Hallelujah.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Lord.
Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Jody rescued me.
Thank you.
And she rescues me every day. She's going to be by my side when I go in for this surgery.
Thank you, Jesus. Praise him. Praise him. Praise him.
Yeah, Lord.
Hallelujah. Praise him.
She pulled me away from that cliff. And I wouldn't be who I am today without my Jody, without my children, without Sonia, who took the phone from Jody and told him what's going on when I had my blood clots in my lungs.
Jesus.
I mean, Jody was in a bit of a panic and she was crying. I was calling for help and Sonia rode to the rescue and told everybody told the emergency folks what's going on. Jody soothed me. I recognized who she was. I recognized who Sonia was. If it weren't for those two, I wouldn't be here. I'd have died last summer. I would have died last summer were it not for Sonia and Jody just riding in.
Jesus.
Were it not for Jody saying to me, I want you to chase your dreams as a sports announcer. Were it not for Jody saying to me every day, and she said it again this morning, when you get healthy and this show takes off, with everybody with it, with everybody with it.
Mercy, Jesus. Mercy, Lord.
He has shown me such mercy by bringing Jody and her family into my life.
Amen.
I'm gonna stop here, and we'll be back on Monday. And thank you guys, everybody in the chat. Thank you, everybody that's here. Thank you. I'll be back on Monday. I love you guys.
Love you too, man.